Hello, my subscribers. Welcome to another video here on Jamaican chapter. I am Nigel D. Salmon, and today I'm coming to you from Pedro Plain. Pedro Plain, the community of Pedro Plain here in St. Elizabeth, and I will be touring the St. Peter's Anglican Church. It's part of my series. If you have been following this channel, I said when I was touring St. Stephen's Church in Nain, St. Elizabeth, I said that I would be going to more of the historical churches here in St. Elizabeth. So I'm now visiting the St. Peter's Anglican Church here in St. Elizabeth, in Pedro Plain, St. Elizabeth. This is Pedro Plain, very nice community. It's a farming community. Very nice big houses out here, showing that the people them work very hard. All right, so let's begin the tour. Let's enjoy this travel. If you have been following this channel, you know what I do at a church. I tour the church, and I also read some graves and tell you about the people who are buried there. Try as much as possible to find out how they died, what kind of work they used to do, and so on. So this is an interesting tour for those of you who love history and just want to educate yourself about the world. Welcome to the tour of Pedro Plain in St. Elizabeth, the St. Peter's Anglican Church. It's a long road, not a long road, but it's a somewhat amount of walking from off the main road to go up to the church here in Pedro Plain. It's nice out here. It looks more like a farming community because there's so much land, and the people here, they make, they produce a lot of things, melons and escallion and things like that. Then you have this Pedro Plain Primary School over there. So when I was trying to find the church, I used the primary school and say, yeah, I'm going to the primary school because I know, I will eventually go near to the church, the St. Peter's Anglican Church here in Pedro Plain. It seems to be a primary and infant because you'll notice the children up this side, they are they are small, like basic school students. So up here must be a part for the infant, the smaller ones. Look at that little one there. It doesn't ready for primary yet. So I'm closing in to the church. And I think I'm passing somewhere right now that looks like a clinic. There it is. I think it's a clinic. This has to be a clinic. I see a nurse, see people out there waiting on chairs. The breeze is also nice out here. It's now after 11 o'clock, so the sun is like directly up into the sky. My first time in Pedro Plain. Absolutely my first time. So now I'm approaching the gate of St Peter's Anglican Church. Alright, so I am actually in front of the church right now. And I must tell you guys that when I search up this church and the photograph that I found, it's a beautiful photograph. It's a photograph of a beautiful church. Lawn well kept. The place looked immaculate. But when I turned up here, things were not the same. Things are not the same. That's because there was a recent hurricane, and that hurricane did significant damage to this church here in Pedro Plain, St. Elizabeth. So the picture that you see on the thumbnail, that's how the church looked. But this is how it looks now. Completely different. The church has suffered significant damage. Jeez. All right, so let's go inside and visit the church now, the church ground, and find out more. And this is St. Peter's Anglican Church. The way how it looks on this day in January 2025, the church had suffered significant damage due to the passing hurricane. There's no roof. There is absolutely no roof. Wow. The entire top of the church was torn off. You know, the hurricane did it really bad. Windows damaged. Some of the chairs ended up outside. The walls are standing very strong. You know, some of the windows, or most of the windows, are not damaged. The wall looked just the same, but the top of the building is gone. I wish I had a drone like some other YouTubers to give you an aerial view. I'll get there someday with a drone. This is how St. Peter's Anglican Church look. Since the passing hurricane. There are graves on the outside. Yes, it's an Anglican church, and of course you'll see graves on the outside. Older graves and newer graves. I'm now seeing on the side of the church, when the church was established, I see here AD 1941. AD 1941. So the church was established in that year, AD 1941. So it's here for a very long time. It's not yet a century since it has been established here. But from AD 1941, I just say 1941 until now, we can see that this church has passed through one or two generations, you would say. I would love to see on the inside, to see what damages were done to the church. So this would be the back of the church. You can see there's a desk. Then you have the bathroom here. And with the desk, with the office, you'll have, things you'll find in a church office. There's a robe there. Maybe it's the pastor's robe. Oh, and maybe more rain. Look what it did here. I don't think they had lost any important documents if they had it in here. The hurricane did significant damage to this place. Don't know what these are. I'm saying pastor's robe, but oh yeah, this is absolutely a minister's apparel. Wow, it's gonna take a lot of money to put this place back together. So this is the back of the church, inside the back of the church. Let's now go into, so the pastor or everybody will walk out here. They'll come on the pulpit and wow. Oh my God. The entire roof is gone. Here you have a locker. I have something written here. Says the usher. Okay, so person who are ushers, they would pin that onto their clothes. I think up here they would have the steel horn, or what they're gonna call it. The speakers. Look, as the hurricane tore down the top of the church, you can see the fan there, which would have been spinning in the top of the church. This would be the pulpit. So maybe I have the choir up here. The choir. And pillows that you would rest yourself on when praying. They're still at the pulpit. It's a good thing that no one came to the church and say, oh, it's hurricane, let me go to the church. Because boy, oh boy, it probably would have been a fatal move. This piece of the church, this piece here is still up there. That little piece, that side piece. But if they're gonna repair the roof, they probably have to tear that down as they make the necessary repairs. And here would be where the person would stand on to go up on. And you can see the mic stand is still there. It's still in good condition, but with the rain coming and burning it and burning it, and then the rain and the sun, this nice furniture could get damaged over time. You can imagine the roaring and the horrible sound as this entire roof caved in. I was told when I spoke with the taxi driver on my way coming, he said individuals came here and stole what they said, the organ or the piano or whatever the case is. Got this carpet, lovely carpet, all in ruins. It take a lot to clean it. And look at this chandelier, or whatever you want to call it. Imagine it collapsing to the ground. This was beautiful. Imagine how it looked when it was up in the roof here. This is the part of the roof. It was hanging down, giving a nice, If you were in here when this roof was collapsing, you probably feel like you're in one of those movies. Look at this. This got damaged. This is a Bible stand. A Bible stand. One part of it is gone. The Bible stand. Oh, look at this Bible. Oh, this is a hymn book. My God, it's all stiff and everything now. Oh. Let me see what hymn it is opened at. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. Hallelujah, praise ye. Okay. I guess they didn't steal this because this was all padlocked up. Oh, what's in here? Hello? Thank goodness there's nobody in here. So we have, this must be where the pastor changes because it's different from the other room that we first came in, huh? This is the pastor's robe, no doubt. And the cupboard here. Oh, it's a funeral program. Clarice Adina Blackwood, 1923 to 2018. Wonder if she's buried on the grounds. Well, I will be going out there to read some graves. Clarice Adina, or Adina. Clarice Adina. They didn't have any more pictures in here. 1923 to 2018. That's a long life, Miss Clarice Blackwood. Oh, got this. This haven't been used for some time. It's goat skin. It's goat skin. This will last a long time. And this must be where he used to collect the money. The ushers. Okay, I think I'm a little, even though this place is opened and, you know, damages caused, I don't think I'm a little too intrusive right there. Oh, the piano. No, this is not the piano. This is a piano? Oh, this is not a piano. This is more like what is this? Somebody comment in the comment section and tell me what this is. What is this? It has a lot of things down here where you can press your foot on. It seems like you have to plug it in. So it's still under the section where there is no damage to the roof. Still under that section where the piece of roof that is still standing in the entire church. So because of that, I don't think this had gotten any much damaged. You know? I don't know what it is. It looks like a piano to me. But it has so much functions, you know? It's an Anglican church, so that's what they would play. It's a broad pulpit. It's a broad pulpit. All right, so we can see the condition of this church. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to see this. It's like standing in the Titanic or something. So much, destruction. All right, let's head outside now and read some grave to find out the history of some of the individuals who were buried here. All right, so here we have a bell right out there. The bell plays a significant role, The bell. I believe it still works. Don't you think? Oh, it still works. Here's the string here. No, not a string, a train. No. Oh man, this thing doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. Must be here from 1941. All right, so I'm going to go into the history of some of the individuals who are buried here. Their remains buried here. I noticed at the front of the property, not really the front, but you call it the front of the church building, that there are two graves right over there. I doubt that they have any kind of epitaph for me to read. No, they are blank. 2 old graves. Probably ministers. Probably husband and wife. All right, so let's get into the grave reading. I'm going to start with this one here. And I'm going to read towards the back. So on this grave it says, in loving memory of Clinester A. St. A. Henry, O.D. So I'm just going to say Clinester Henry, O.D. O.D. means Order of Distinction. So he received the Order of Distinction. Born November 30, 1933. Died July 11, 2007. And they say, truly a man among men. Truly a man among men. Meaning he was well respected. Clinester Henry, O.D., 1933 to 2007. There's another Henry here. This one says, Dr. George A. Henry, scientist. June 3, 1939 to May 22, 2009. Beloved husband, father, and grandfather. I don't know what that must be, something in a different language. So this is the grave of Dr. George A. Henry, scientist. And he died 2009. But hold on, this doesn't look like a grave. It's too short. So maybe it's an urn. You see this little short part here? Maybe it's an urn that they put in there. Because this could not be a grave. Look at this grave right in front of it. So Dr. George Henry probably was cremated. I think that's the case. And the urn is placed right in here. Beside him, you see Dr. Coral E. Henry, March 28, 1937 to June 20, 2022, scientist. They say beloved daughter, sister, wife, mother, and grandmother, friend to all children. And they have something written here in another language, Sumosti Requaro, or whatever it says. But below that it says, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. Was the widow of George Henry. The both of them were doctors, scientists, and the both of them were cremated. And they are placed right here beside each other. And I think they were related to Mr. Clinester Henry over there. All right. Let me start over here. This is another Henry. This says in loving memory of Jemima, that's Jemima, Jemima Henry, 1909 to 1994. And it say her children shall rise up and call her blessed. So this is the grave of Jemima Henry, 1909 to 1994. The minute you look at this grave, you know that it's an old grave. You see how narrow it was made? And this is another Henry. It says in loving memory of Bernard A. Henry, born 13th August 1896, died 22nd September 1955. And it down the bottom it say a man not great but good. So Bernard Henry was born in 1896 and died 1955, which means that he was 59 years old. He was 59 years old in 1955. We go now to a grave of this one is Adrian Blair. In loving memory of Adrian Blair, 1899 to 1936, asleep in the Lord. Adrian Blair was born 1899. Even a young man, Adrian Blair, a young guy. This one says, in loving memory of Lillian Blair Spence. (1905 to 1986), safe in the arms of Jesus. So Lillian Blair Spence might have been the sister of Adrian Spence, Adrian Blair over there. Because his name is Adrian Blair, and a man's name does not change when he's married. The woman's name changed. And here they say Lillian Blair Spence. So she probably was born Lillian Blair and then she got married to a Spence. Anyway, so she was born 1905 and she died 1986. I was just going to basic school at that time when Lillian Blair Spence died. There's nothing on this grave here. I wish they had just marked something into it. It's not pointing in the same direction as these different graves. Or maybe it is. No, it's not. This is pointing some like southward. And here's another one again. Still in good condition, but Nothing on it to say who was buried there. There's another one, the same thing. So I can only read the ones with writings. All right. This says in fond memory of Anne I. Blair. So Anne Blair died January 1, 1973, age 92 years old. Rest in peace. So as the year 1973 stepped in, Anne Blair died. She died on New Year's Day, 1973, and she was 92 years old. That's a life well lived, on 92 in 1973. Another narrow grave, which means this person died long ago. Just say, in loving memory of Agatha Blair, 1877 to 1935. Forever loved, forever missed. Well, I can tell you that when Agatha Blair died in 1935, everybody who was at that funeral are now dead. And she was not that old. She was born in 1877. And then she died in 1935. You know. And right beside her, just one step away, that's my foot right there, just one step away, you see the grave of John Blair. Say, in loving memory of John Blair, 1869 to 1934, always in our hearts. So they died 1 year apart. John died in 1934 and Agatha died in 1935, and they were still in the same age group. Husband and wife, Agatha Blair and John Blair. I'm standing at the grave. I can see that 97 sticking out. This person lived until 97 years old. It says, in loving memory of a devoted aunt, Deborah Falconer, died July 16, 1972, age 97. You were blessed, Deborah Falconer. You lived to see 97. You died in 1972. So much things you have seen in your lifetime, Miss Falconer. And they refer to us as a devoted aunt. And at this other side, they say, may her soul rest in peace. So she's here from 1972. What's that? What's this? What's this? What's this thing? It looks like they must have buried a urn. Buried an urn in it. Maybe they just don't finish decorating it. I don't know what's that. This grave, it looks like the grave of someone young. It looks short, but being short does not mean that it was somebody young. All it has is a big cross. I tell anybody, put names on graves, because as time goes by, you know, the generation that knows the person is gonna die out. All right, so here we are at another grave that's all covered. Okay, this grave is all covered under trash. I'm gonna just brush it away. I don't want to break the roses. I want to break the roses tree. It says, in memory of a dear aunt, Julia Bromfield, who departed on 28 May 1972. So Julia Bromfield died on May 28, 1972. Her grave is hidden under this beautiful flowers tree. I didn't want to break it up just to read her grave, you know. On the other side of the flower tree, we see the grave of Desmond Blair Henry. Forever in our hearts. Creative genius. Desmond Blair Henry. February 4, 1935, that's when he was born. February 4, 1935 to February 3, 2008. So Desmond Henry, you were born in February and he died in February. And he died just one day before his birthday. Look at this. February 4, 1935, and he died February 3, 2008. Just one day. Desmond, why couldn't you have held on? Why couldn't you have held on? You know? And it seemed like he was cremated, because if you notice how short the space is between him and the other person, and then you see this thing here, my foot is touching it. I think his urn is there. So they cremated his body. And in front of him, this must be Desmond's wife. Say, forever in our hearts, Nicolette Erica Henry. November 25, 1932 to November 28, 2017. She lived the life she loved. And you can see right in front of her the same thing, which means that she was cremated and her urn was placed in this. Her urn is inside of this. So Nicolette Erica Henry, no doubt, she was the widow of Desmond Henry behind her. And here is a full grave. This person was definitely not cremated. Personally, I don't like cremation. You know, I go to a funeral and I see an urn instead of a casket, and it does not feel like a funeral to me. I get used to a funeral with a casket. But it's still a funeral. This says, in loving memory of Hyacinth Henry Campbell, 1937 to 1987. The souls of the just are in the hands of God. Hyacinth Henry Campbell, 1937 to 1987. So that means she was what, 50 years old? Yeah, Hyacinth was either 50 or 49. If her birthday had come in 1987, then she would be 50 years old. Here we have one of those old graves, but they have installed an, a headstone on it. This was a previous headstone, and then they put this new one here. It says John S. Barrett, born October 1804, died October 22, 1884. So he was 80 years old. He was 80 years old. John S. Barrett. He never lived to see the 1900s. He died in 4, which was the time when slavery was active in Jamaica. Was this a white man or a black man? Because 1804 means that slavery was active. It was a slavery time, man. And then he died 1884. He lived in the 1800s. He could have been a white man, I'm not sure. But his grave, if you look at it, is designed just as those graves that don't have anything on them. His does. Maybe he was a rector of the church. But then remember on the church I see AD 1941. So I don't know if that's when the church started then. I don't know. Because he would have been buried here in 1884. Oh. Then we look down there, and you can notice that those are newer graves. The older graves are closer to the church, the newer ones are buried out there. So let's begin and find out the history. I'm gonna do all these graves. These are not a lot of graves, you know, and not all of them seem to have writing anyway. So this says, in loving memory of a devoted husband and father, John Arthur Myrie, died 9th September 1975, age 61. John Arthur Myrie. On the other side it say, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. John Arthur Myrie. I wonder what he was like. You know, what were you like, Mr. Myrie? He was 61 when he died on the 9th of January 1975. So he was buried here all the way back in 1975. So a new generation now, since his death. This is a Myrie. This is also a Myrie. Says, in loving memory of a devoted mother and grandmother, Clarissa E. Myrie, died April 21, 2008, age 85. I just hope this church doesn't become abandoned. It's gonna take a lot of money to put it back together. They should start some fundraising already. Keep some things, keep some kind of events to raise money. And even try to raise money online, because it's a nice church. It's a nice church and it needs to get active again. In loving memory of a beloved son and brother, Keith White. Whenever time you're reading and you hear they say beloved son, it's somebody who died young. So he was born May 28, 1965, and he died January 1980, which means he was just 15 years old. This is a 15-year-old boy. No, hold on. He was 14 because he was born on May 28, 1965, and he died January 13. He died before May, so he was 14 years old. Keith White was 14 years old when he died in 1980. In loving memory of William Alexander Campbell, March 20, 1920 to August 7, 2004. And they wrote, "When earthly things have passed, Lord, grant him peace and eternal rest. For he that overcometh, a crown of life shall be." William Alexander Campbell, he lived long. He lived until his 80s. That's what about 84. He was about 84 years old. William Alexander Campbell. Okay, sir. This is an older grave beside his. Wow, this must be here for a very long time. This is the grave of Enos Buchanan, who was living in Mountainside, St. Elizabeth. He was a Mason by profession. He died on May 10, 1981 in the Mandeville Public Hospital. His causes of death listed as renal failure, leptospirosis, and he also had diabetes. right, so we're at the, it's not grave, this is urnment. We're at the urnment of, I'm gonna just move this a little. Says, in loving memory of Shirley A. Gordon. Sunrise July 24, 1940 to sunset November 11, 2023. Love you, Dad. Love you, Uncle. And that's his photograph right there. He was cremated. He was cremated and his urn was placed here. So this is not, I get to understand, not a burial. It's an urnment. So they decided to, cremate Shirley Gordon. And in front of Shirley Gordon is this big grave. Big, tall grave here. And it's a Gordon. So he might have been related to Shirley. In loving memory of Adeline Maud Gordon. September 1901 to August 1992. So this is a woman, Adeline Maud Gordon. So it might have been, could be the mother of Shirley. If somebody who's watching and know, you can leave your comment, let me know. But they're definitely related. He's buried right beside her, right behind her. And again, I say not buried, he's urned. In loving memory of Ruston Arthur James, born December 22, 1927, died November 1, 1982. Ruston Arthur James. And beside Ruston is another James. I'll go around here. It's another James. And this say, in loving memory of our dear sister, Ethla Earsley James, born October 27, 1933, died November 12, 2003. So Ethla is somehow related to Ralston James over there. Could they have been husband and wife? I don't know. This is probably another James, but the headstone is not yet added. Let me start from down here. In never fading memory of Georgiana Reynolds, Miss G, 1910 to 2004. Right, Miss G. Phyllis Pearl Buchanan, July 18, 1918 to November 22, 2002. And they said, a good and godly woman. Rest in peace. I love this. What is this? Rubber? No, it's not rubber. I like it. I like it. I like the design. Phyllis Pearl Buchanan, 1918 to 2002. Reverend Stephen Buchanan, January 27, 1917, died March 22, 1996. And they wrote, he loved his God and served his fellow man. Rest in peace. Reverend Stephen Buchanan is likely the husband of Phyllis Pearl Buchanan over there. So he died in 1996 and she died not too long after, like 6 years after. So it's likely that they are husband and wife. Okay, Reverend Stephen Buchanan, rest in peace, sir. Everybody's road. Big respect to the Reverend. In loving, no, why am I saying loving? There's no loving there. In memory of a beloved mother, Mistress Ida Iglan Ebanks. So just say Ida Ebanks, right? 1891 to 1986. Mistress Ida Iglan Ebanks. She was born in 1891. Can you imagine how she was as a little girl in 1891 Jamaica? Colonial Jamaica. And she lived to see Jamaica got independence. So and say, in loving memory of Emery Keturia Rogers, born November 7, 1903, died April 13, 1983. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Revelation 21, verse 4. Is this a woman or a man? Emery Kitoria. The Kitoria sound feminine, so I'm assuming that Emery Kitoria Rogers was a female. And she died April 13, 1983. That's a long life. If you can live and see 80, just 80 alone means you have had a long life. In loving memory of a dear mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, Everetta I. Honeygon, born 14 of the 6th, 1930, and died the 13 of the 2, 2019. Miss Honeygon. I love that last name, Honeygon. Oh, Honeygon. If Everetta was my girlfriend, I would call her Honey every day. She lived a long time, 1930 until 2019. She was in her 80s. Yeah, she was in her 80s. This must be her husband. Says, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, Wolsey, that's Wolsey L. Honeygon, born 19 of the 6th, 1919, died the 28th of the 4th, 1988. Okay, so he died about age 69. Let's see, yeah, about age 69 he died or something like that. So he died a long time, 1988, and then His wife lived until 2019. So she lived quite for some time after the death of her husband here. You know, they are together again. You know, after all those years apart, they are together again. Here's another honeygon. Another honeygon. Okay, so let me see. It says, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, Owen C. Honeygon, born the 15th of the 2, that's February 15, 1923, died the 26th of the 4, 1990. It says, sadly missed by wife, children, and other relatives. Owen Honeygon died in 1990, and I believe this must be his wife. This is the grave of Beatrice L. Honeygon. She was born August 26, 1931, and she died August 4, 2018. So yeah, I believe that Beatrice was the wife of Owen. And on his grave it says, sadly missed by wife. Well, the wife Beatrice had now joined him. Many years after, some like 28 years later, she joined him. So she's no longer sadly missing him. She's now gladly meeting him.